Can you see me? It's kind of dark in here. Sit next to the tree. Okay, here it is, folks. Here it is, folks. You can believe it, you can deny it, but it's the truth. Believe it or deny it, but it's the truth. So you can believe the truth or you get to deny the truth. It's your choice. It's your choice. Doesn't matter to me, but it's your choice. I know the truth. Narcissism is caused by substance use. Narcissism is caused by substance use. And it's never going to stop unless you put them in a cage and force them to stop drinking and doing drugs. It's never going to stop unless you lock them in a cage and force them to get sober. Narcissism is caused by drinking and doing drugs. All these personality disorders are caused by drinking and doing drugs, and maybe food disorders also. But usually people who have a food disorder also drink and do drugs. So maybe it's just drugs and drinking. There it is. You believe it or not, but it's the truth. Think of every narcissist you know. Do they drink? Do they do drugs? Heck yeah, they do, right? Probably. Probably, right? And if you don't think they do, how do you know they're not? You don't know what people do when you're not watching them. You do not know what people do when you're not watching them. So don't ever think. A lot of people, they go through life thinking, I know that person 100%. No, you don't. You do not. Don't flatter yourself. Get off your little egomaniac pedestal. You don't know that person 100%. You're just telling yourself that to make yourself feel better. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm kind of griping at people. Like I said, when I make this video, when I look into the camera, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself and anyone else that it might apply to. Cool. If it can help you out too, cool. I'm really talking to myself because these videos are helping me. But I figured this out a long time ago. I don't know if anyone else in the world realizes this, but narcissism is caused by drinking and doing drugs. That's where that behavior comes from. Why do parents abuse their kids? Usually because they're intoxicated on drugs, right? That's why. Did you grow up with parents who drink, do drugs, have a pill cabinet full of pills, always liquor in the fridge? Probably, right? And that's why they abused you and neglected you and said mean things to you and were short-tempered with you and played psychotic mind games with you and maybe even physically abused you because they were intoxicated and on drugs. And then the children grow up to be the same way, and it's a terrible cycle. And a person is never going to stop being a narcissist until they get sober. So if you're waiting for that change, if they haven't gotten sober, then they have not changed. And how many people who drink stop drinking? Few, very few, right? I don't know. It seems like very few quit. It's not funny, but it just seems like once you get a taste of that bathroom cleaner, and you get really into it, it's really hard to stop. I know, it's really hard to stop. Well, I've never been that heavy. I don't like to say addicted because I feel like addiction is kind of get people a sense of hopelessness. Like, oh, I'm addicted. Like, I don't like the word addiction. It's just got kind of a hopeless theme to it. I like to be a little more positive. I like to think that there's always a light somewhere at the end of the tunnel, right? I don't want to think that the tunnel's just closed off and there's no way out. But that's it. That's it, folks. That's it, folks. That's all, folks. Believe it or not, it's the truth. A lot of people, they don't want to blame the alcohol, right? You're going to defend the alcohol tooth and nail, right? The drinkers. Well, I don't want to say the drinkers. I used to drink, right? But I've never been that heavy addicted to it. I don't want to say addicted again. It's hard because you're used to using all these words, right? And then it's like everything else. You got to gradually filter it out of your vocabulary and stop using it. I don't like the word addiction. I don't even like the word narcissist. Because, you know, nobody wants to feel like there's something wrong with their brain. Because I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Is there something wrong with me? It's a scary feeling. It's a sad feeling. And you don't want to feel like there's something wrong with someone you love either. Why is this person under this spell? This person that I care about. It gets you so mad. It's like, why did you feel it? Why did this person have to be sacrificed? This person that I care about. Why are they under this spell? Why? And you get mad, right? Why? Why is this person I care about afflicted with this? Why? You know? Because they drink. They were raised by drinkers and people who do drugs, and they started drinking, and that's where all this crazy behavior is coming from. Drinking and doing drugs. Believe it or not, is the truth. All these personality disorders. It's not a personality disorder. People are just under the influence. People are simply under the, I was once completely unaware about that. When you finally become aware, you get that first fire and you're like, oh no, everyone needs to know about this. And you get angry because you feel like you've been fooled for so long. And you look out in the world and you see everyone else is just completely oblivious. Just like I used to be. And it's like, God, you just want to climb to the top, to the mountain. You want to climb to the top of Mount Everest and just shout it. Everyone needs to know this. Nobody knows what's going on, and everybody needs to know this. Everyone's pointing fingers at the wrong thing and trying to figure it out, and they're getting nowhere because nobody knows the real cause of it. People kind of have an, most narcissists drink, but they're not really making that link. They're not linking it together. Narcissism is caused by alcohol and drugs. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? It's the only obvious to me. It's obvious. It's where all this crazy behavior comes from. Drinking and doing drugs, raising kids while you're drunk and on drugs. And then your kids are screwed up. Because your kids grew up in an empathy void. Your kids grew up in an empathy void, an apology void, empathy void, logic void, all kinds of voids the kid had to grow up in. And of course they're going to grow up to be a narcissist also. Because they were raised by intoxicated, careless, frigid, cold-blooded, cold, black-hearted parents. They mean well. The parents mean well. It's not the parent, it's the spell. It's not the parents, it's the spell. Parents, they're doing their best. Okay, it's not the people, it is the spell. It is the crap inside of the bottle, okay? It's causing all this behavior. You need to stop putting it in your body because it's making you crazy. It's making your kids crazy because you're neglecting your kids. You're treating your kids like garbage, like they're nothing. The kids are growing up feeling like they're nothing. The kids are growing up feeling like they mean nothing to you because you're drunk and on drugs and you're not paying attention to your kids. And a lot of people are going to hear this message and blow it off because that's the way, that's what the spell does to you. That's what the spell does to you. A lot of people, if they see, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And you need to listen up. You need to go into your kitchen, in your bathroom, throw all that stuff away. Right yesterday. You throw it all away. Stop putting it in your body. Narcissism is caused by alcohol and drugs. And it's a terrible spell. And nothing's going to change until people get sober. Nothing's going to change until people get sober. And I'm not saying this out of hate. I'm just fired up, you know. I'm just kind of screaming out into the air. I'm not screaming at anyone. I'm not screaming at anyone. I'm not screaming at anyone. That's why I have to whisper so much, because it's like a counter thing. Like countering my urge to want to scream. I gotta scream. You know? So, I know the truth. I'm not gonna bang my head against the wall trying to convince everybody. Here's the message. You know, I'll keep saying it. Whoever wants to believe it, cool. If you don't want to believe it, cool. I know the truth. So, It's hard looking out and watching everybody go around in circles. Nobody knows what they're talking about. You can't run up to, there's too many people. You can't run up to every person and tell them. Not every person is going to see this video. And you have to accept that. The misinformation is still going to be swirling around. And people are still going to be not knowing what's going on. Pointing fingers at the wrong thing. Spending all this time and money and energy pointing fingers at the wrong thing because they probably drink too. They don't want to. A lot of therapists drink. Oh yeah, well just meditate on it. Let's go for a drink. They probably like take their clients out for a drink. It's nuts, okay? It's nuts. Are you a therapist who drinks? You should probably stop, right? I know I look totally judgmental right now. It's just like when you have an epiphany, it's like holy. I mean, I realized this a long time ago. It's like more and more. Do I want to know this? No. Do I feel cool? No. I'd rather not. I'd rather not, right? Oh, yay. I figured out narcissism? No. It's not a happy thing. I'd rather not. I'd rather not be in existence at all. But yeah, it's not going to change. Why does it not change? Because people are still drinking. People are still drinking and doing drugs. That's why it doesn't change. That's why narcissism doesn't go away. Because they're not getting sober. That's why. So, if you don't want to be a bad parent and you don't want to screw up your kids, get sober. Because that is the cause of all this narcissism and all these disorders. Substance use, drinking and doing drugs. Think about anyone you know with a mental, did they drink and do drugs? Yeah, they did, right? They do, whatever. They're not sober people. And a lot of people, they think aspirin, I'm going to just take an aspirin. It's absolutely drug. A lot of people don't consider their pill cabinet drug use. It's absolutely drug use. You're using drugs. What does the pharmacy say? Drugstore. A lot of people think only heroin and crack cocaine are the drugs. I'm not a drug addict because I don't do it. Yes, you are. You got a packed full pill cabinet. If you have a packed pill, you've got pills in your place. If a child cannot walk around your place without possibly getting into some pills, because there's pills in the place. You're using drugs, you're on drugs, okay? The denial, just the collective denial. I'm not a drug addict, I only do aspirin. You use drugs, you use aspirin, you're using drugs. Pepto-Bismol, just anything out of the pharmacy shelf, it's a drug, you're using drugs. Just because you're not shooting up doesn't mean you're not a drug addict. If you're constantly, you're drugging. Okay? You're drugging. It's the drug. And then what you wash it down with some booze, right? Oh, so many people drink and it's awful. This is where all this crazy behavior disorders are coming from. Using. That's the truth. Believe it or not. And I know people are going to watch this and blow me off. You don't know what she's talking about. Yeah, I do. You're just in denial. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean to people. Okay, I love everybody and I want everyone to heal. If I didn't care, I'd stay quiet. I don't care about you. When you don't care, you stay quiet. Of course, a great Hermetic quote, the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. If people don't want to hear it, they're not going to hear it. Doesn't matter how close you get to them and how sweetly and gently you say it. If they don't want to hear it, they're not going to hear it. So I know a lot of people, when they hear the truth, they're not going to accept it. There's nothing you can do about that. Is there anything you can do about what someone else thinks? I cannot control what anyone else thinks. So here it is. Take it or leave it. And whether or not people take it or leave it has no effect on me. I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there. I hope it helps somebody. But there it is. That's all, folks. That's all, folks. There it is. That's it, and that's all. Makes sense, right? Does it make a little bit of sense? Just a tiny little bit of sense. We like sense, right? Bye-bye.